Hi, my name's Ottilia, and I'm a commercial graduate here at Carlsberg. And I'm standing here with Philip, who was my manager in my first 9-month rotation in business development. And you actually used to be a graduate yourself, so I thought it might be interesting to ask you a few questions. You will also want to introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Philip. I'm head of business development in Carlsberg's export and license division. I used to be a graduate. I joined 5 years ago. I did the 2 years graduate program, and afterwards I've been positioned for 1 year in Laos and now for the 2 years in export and license.
So I wanted to start by asking, are there any specific attributes or characteristics that you think set certain graduates apart from each other?
My experience is from the program that a good graduate is willing to accept that you are going to be on a very steep learning curve. I remember sometimes feeling a little bit frustrated that whenever I started feeling comfortable in the position I was in, it was typically around the time when you needed to move to your next position. But it's also a rotational program, so you're going to be put in different positions, and some of them might not be what you find interesting. It is also accepting that some positions are going to be super exciting and you could see yourself working that for many years forward. Others are not what you want to do, but that's the part of the program.
Then I thought it would be interesting to ask you how you think graduates can take ownership over their careers within Carlsberg.
Yeah. So when I was a graduate, I looked at it as every rotation was about learning. But it's also something where you have to acknowledge that taking ownership might not be the easiest, because it's not you who decide everything about your rotational program. They're going to look at where is your help needed and what skills can you help with. And they're going to try and find a match for it. So for me, for example, when I joined as a graduate 5 years ago, I started out in business development. And I really liked that position because I was combining a lot of different things in Carlsberg into the work we do. When I then rotated, I was in sales and I was in marketing. And I knew I wanted to go back to business development, but I also knew that role required learnings from these other things. So I think when it comes to taking ownership, it's about being open to where you could see yourself fit in and see every rotation as an opportunity to find out if you fit in there. And if you know where you want to go, it's about looking at the rotation in terms of how does this help me in where I want to be in Carlsberg in the future.
The next thing I'd like to ask you is, how do you assess a graduate's progress?
So when you're a graduate, you rotate. So progress can maybe be a little bit different. Difficult to assess because you will probably be in very different roles where there's not a lot of overlap. But I think from my own experience as a graduate, but also seeing some of my fellow graduates when we were in the program, it was about taking things with you from every position. And the progress was then about looking at, I'm now in a marketing position, for example. How is what I learned in sales relevant to marketing? And there is some aspects that can be brought forward. And that's where you can sense the experience that they're accumulating, or you yourself will be accumulating during the program. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I actually think it's quite cool because already switching from business development to a marketing role, I feel like I already have quite a lot of experience because we work very project-based in business development, where you can already come with input and sort of knowledge from what I did before. And I also would say that's development, because I wouldn't have known that before I started here. What is one piece of advice you would give to potential candidates who want to apply to the program?
I think they should look at a graduate program as a unique opportunity to try different roles within an organization. If you want to be in the beverage industry, or if you want to work specifically for Carlsberg, the graduate program is a good place to try different parts of the organization without necessarily deciding which specific role you want to be in. So my advice would be to be open to try very different positions and rotations in the company, because all of that will be learnings that you can bring forward in the organization when you come into your final position after the graduate program. And the more you learn, the more different things you acquire or try, the better you're probably going to be positioned after your program.